Hello, and welcome to Dad's Our Job podcast, the original football podcast for dads by dads. This week, I'm joined by Callum. How are we getting on, mate? All good?
Yeah, evening, mate. How are you? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. This is part 2 of the episode. We've already recorded part 1, and if you want to listen to that, the link is in the description below to our Podbean, but we can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, anything. Literally anything, anywhere possible you can listen to a podcast, we've uploaded it. So go back and have a look and give us a few comments and see whether you like it or not. But this is part 2. So the part 1 was focusing on dad life and talking about our kids' traits and talking about my DIY attempt at the weekend. But if you want to listen to football, stay tuned. We want to talk about West Ham United, we're going to talk about Arsenal, and we're going to talk about what's the description in the thumbnail is Thomas Tuchel's first England squad. So, Cal, you ready for talking some football this evening?
I hope so. I think so. I'm a little bit worried actually because there's a lot to discuss. To be fair, isn't there? So yeah,
There is a lot to discuss
for Arsenal fans. Lots to worry about, I think, but and look forward to, I suppose. Let's be positive. But yeah, where do you want to start? Where should we start?
I think we should start with Arsenal because I think because obviously you played the game on Sunday, and in my opinion, I predicted you guys to lose because I thought Man United are the type of team that would always turn up and kind of piss on Arsenal's parade. Effectively, they've already done it once this year in the FA Cup, haven't they? So I thought, they might do it again, but I was wrong. They come out fighting and. I hate to say it, but a certain basmati Billy Bonds come up with the equaliser. But you tell us more about the game, Cal. You've obviously watched it more than I have.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I was expecting us to probably get a draw, if I'm being honest. Being away from home as well, it's probably, most likely being up there, especially with the squad that we've got. But I'm actually going to have a little bit of a rant. I'm actually getting fed up, right, of Arsenal fans saying or getting the ump that we haven't got a striker. Yeah? Because, listen, we all know we haven't got a striker. Yeah? We all know that we're struggling or we're going to be struggling to score goals, right? But I am actually getting really fed up with fans coming on and moaning about it and stressing about it. Listen, it's too late now. We can't do nothing about it. Yeah. And they're saying about, we're not taking chances. We're not doing this. Well, no, we haven't got a striker. Yeah. And then they're moaning about Marino being up top. Well, not be funny to the lad. Yeah. He scored 3 goals since he's played up front. Now, there's strikers who've played the same amount of games as he has, being up front in the last few weeks, and haven't even scored. And he's nicked 3 goals. I think that's top draw. He's playing that position. He's scored. I know 2 of them was in one game, but any day, what has he played up front 4 games now?
Yeah,
is that right? Top of my head, 4 games he's been up front.
No,
he's got 3 goals in 4 games. I guarantee any striker, out and out goal scorer would be buzzing to score 3 goals in 4 games, even though 2 of them was in one. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't. I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, personally, I think we done well. I think personally, actually, when watching the game, I think we probably should have actually nicked it. Do you know what I mean? Well, saying that, I know actually thinking of it, Ray did make a few good saves, but we got our goal, and then obviously. He scored the free kick, and again they're making a big deal about this 11.5 meter wall, foot wall, whatever they want to talk about. But
don't talk about wall to me at the minute. It's all
why?
West Ham fans keep talking about is a bloody wall.
Go on, enlighten me. Go on, enlighten us. Go on. What?
I'll touch on it and we'll get onto West Ham bit. But
okay.
Yeah, remind me of the wall.
I think let's be honest, we do keep possession well. We do try and build up. We do try and you know break the teams down in the sense of Preston high and trying to work a goal instead of pot shot. I do think while we haven't got a striker, we should be taking more pot shots. I know to be fair, Rice sort of was on the edge of the box and sort of did do that. To be fair, for our goal against Man United, which was fantastic. And nice to see actually that he's got he's now scored 2 goals in the last 2 games, and obviously he's playing that number 8 role, which I think will suit him. And he's encouraged to go and score more goals. He spoke about scoring more goals for us, which is lovely because more people scoring, it's only going to benefit the team. But yeah, I think Marino's doing a hell of a job. Playing up there, and
doing a job for the boys, isn't he?
I mean, 100%. And like I say, 3 goals in whatever 4 games or 5 games, whatever it might be, is good. And I think fans want to just have a moan that we haven't been ambitious or we should have bought someone in the January market. But who are you going to get in? I'm really sorry. Like, unless who's going to pay £200 million out in January or 150 million pound, like you've got no chance. And let's be honest, who's going to let the striker, even like Ollie Watkins or someone of that caliber? Aston Villa need him. They're not going to sell him. I don't think they were selling him for offered 100 million for him.
I think Aston Villa had someone lined up, didn't they, for Watkins' replacement, didn't they? But
if they wanted to let them go, I know it's all about saying line them up, but how many times have we seen it where people have got lined up and all of a sudden it all goes quiet and then they're stuck?
Mm.
We've how many times we've spoken about it before. We've gone, oh mate, I bet they regret sending him now because they couldn't get him in on time, or they didn't get the first choice lineup in on time and they've had to go for a second one.
Yeah.
And that's Arsenal. To be fair, that's Arsenal all over. How many times have we done that? Oh, we couldn't get him in, but then let's get someone pay this sort of money and he's been a flop, or hasn't been as great as he should have been, or whatever. So we've been hit by that many a time. But the most important thing for us, I think we've got the fight. Let's be honest, we know the league's done. The league was done way before West Ham, way before I know that's ridiculous to say when you still got, what was it, 13, 14 games to go or whatever it was, but Liverpool looks so strong, and games that they potentially could have dropped points on or lost, they're not. Do you know what I mean? They're going on to win them, or they're basically they're going on to win them. So I think the league was done, and I think the Arsenal players were almost assigned to that. I think that from performances and stuff that I've seen, it's almost like they think that they're playing as if to go, it's a step too far again. But I know that lots of people are taking a mick out of Arsenal coming second again, or hopefully coming second again.
Second again, ole ole.
Yeah, see, I set you up for that. See, I thought I'd let you have it.
Again, ole.
But 3 years ago,
No, sorry, go on.
no. But 3 years ago, 3 seasons ago, we would have been dying to get second.
You were trying to get 7th, weren't you? At one point.
That's what I'm saying. So again, it's a process. Everyone's thing is, right, too many people want the end product straight away, but you've got to build for to get to that state. Do you know what I mean? And I called it at the beginning of the season. I said that we won't win the league this year because we've been so close the last 2 seasons. You're going to have a drop off, and I did say Liverpool would go on and win it. So it's sort of working out to how I would say. I mean, I did say that Arsenal would win the FA Cup and the Champions League. So,
well, you could still win Champions League, though, mate. I mean, look at your route.
This is what I'm coming to, actually.
I mean,
so
go on, mate.
Yeah, go on. Can I touch on Champions League? Can we just
talk
about Arsenal?
Mate. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, thanks. So obviously the league's done. The league is done. And like I say, weeks and weeks before it's been done. But talking about Champions League, obviously we got through against PSV, and we the first leg, as really set up us for that. And I did go and watch it last night actually, and again, I think we look good with not our full squad out, in the sense of at one point. I know they did their subs, or Arteta did his subs throughout the game, but it was nice to have White back, and Martinelli coming on late and stuff. So seeing them come through and getting a few minutes, that's fantastic. But I actually think the Champions League is going to suit us in the sense of not having a striker, because obviously playing people like Man United, or like English teams, Premiership teams, they are going to sit back, I think, against Arsenal, knowing that we haven't got a striker. Yeah, so they're going to absorb, which is basically what Man United did. They absorbed. Then they tried to break, and obviously that's how they got their free kick to then score. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think having Real Madrid in the next round is going to be a massive bonus for Arsenal than having a potential Premiership team. Yeah, because I think Real Madrid will not sit back. They're not historically, and the way they play and the players they've got, they're not a team that would sit back and then try and beat us on the break. They're going to want to try and meet us, or they're going to try and be the team that is on the front foot, and ultimately we could be the ones on the back foot. So not having a striker and having that extra Marino who could drop in and do a job, as well as sort of be that sort of person up front that can sort of pivot off and play off, I think is actually going to play into our hands almost against Real Madrid if we could get a result. I mean, I know it's still slim to beat, Real Madrid, and I know they're probably still one of the favourites to go and win it. But actually playing Real Madrid, I could actually see us, hopefully see us getting a result. My worry is if Aston Villa, and I know this is all hypothetical and it's unlikely, but if Aston Villa could beat PSG, I'm more worried about getting Aston Villa in the semi-finals than playing Real Madrid. I know it sounds ridiculous, isn't it? But playing Real Madrid in the quarterfinals.
PSG. Yeah. Well,
yeah, I'm saying because PSG is also they won't be a team that will soak up. Do you know what I mean they want to play? But to be fair, I know that a lot. They were very good on break against Liverpool.
It's amazing with PSG because they've actually playing better with Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar all leaving.
Yeah,
it's insane.
That talks to you about egos and stuff, and and people being given the opportunity or the freedom to play, and there's a lot to go into the dynamic of the team, isn't it? I suppose like we had it with when we had Aubameyang and Özil and all them players all shift out, and we ended up eventually playing better without them people there. And I do think ego and getting the right egos in and the dynamic of the team is so important. And and you see that against PSG. I mean, Dembele he's like a different player. He scored 20 goals since, or no, he scored again. Was it 23 goals or something since January? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No,
I mean, if he could have a little niggle and not play the next two legs, that'd be fantastic. But or no, if I'll get if we could get through Real Madrid and play them in the semis, and he not be fit would be fantastic. But I think having Real Madrid is going to be beneficial in a sense of that I think they will come on to us, and that having him up front will give us that opportunity. One, that he is an extra man who can help us defend and know how to defend in the midfield, but also be that sort of half pivot man to for people to run off. And I think that you'll see Arsenal sit, and you'll have people like Martinelli who's coming back, who can run. I know his end product's still questionable, but he will run. Potentially Saka. They're talking about Saka could be back. Another one who will run them. Some of the runs Skedy made against PSV is quite exciting in the sense that he actually he runs at players and beats them. But yeah, I think we've got a chance against Real Madrid just by how I reckon they will set up to play. And like I say, if we could get through them, my worry would be getting Aston Villa, because I think they would be the other way around, where they'd expect, us to push on, and then that gives them the chance of like Duran and then players running in behind us and catching us out. So yeah, I mean it's quite exciting, isn't it? I suppose. Could history repeat itself in a sense of last time we got to the final, we had to beat Real Madrid to get to the final. But I think well, the next few months will tell, when it, and who we can get back, and what his plans are going forward. So
you know what would be interesting. Obviously, much of the debate in the Euros just gone was the fact that whether Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham can play with each other in the middle of the park. It'll be interesting to see in that Champions League tie Declan Rice versus Jude Bellingham, because I don't think they've ever played against each other in that level. So
no.
It'll be interesting to see how that comes off. That could be the duel of the tie, the duel of the round, I think. I mean, Aston
At the
Villa
moment, who would you rather have?
That is a great question. Oh God, I love Jude. I love Jude. I love Deck. I can't choose one. If I'm completely honest, mate, I really can't.
I can. Texting all day long. All day long. Ricey.
Yeah, I do like Rice, but I think that is he a game-changing player as much as Jude Bellingham is? Like, I know Jude Bellingham can sometimes get lost in the mix a little bit, can't he? And
is Jude Bellingham a player that I suppose they have influential in different ways? I suppose, I mean, saying that if Rice can add goals scoring to his game, it'd be different. But obviously he scores goals and his runs are vital and stuff, and his free kicks and things like that. But Declan changes the games in the sense of how he breaks up the game. Do you know what I mean? And how he wins tackles, and how he then lays the ball off for other people to go, like Odegaard, to go and do their job. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's two ways of looking at what it's what you consider a game changer, isn't it? Because if someone's pushing onto you and they've got possession, but then he's breaking it down before it gets to that point, and then laying them balls off or making them them runs, and actually that's game changing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean there's a perfect example. I'll probably go Bellingham. That if I had to have a gun to my head now, I'd say Bellingham. I'm not just saying that because of the West Ham connection or whatever. My bitterness has gone with that, if I'm completely honest. But the perfect example with Bellingham for me is going back to the Euros, and we were 1-0 down to Slovakia, and he pops up with an overhead kick in the 90th minute to take it to extra time. That's the sort of player, to me, that I couldn't imagine Declan Rice doing that. But maybe that's just a positional thing, and I don't know whether he was taking the corner or not. I don't know, but like, if in terms of game-changing moments that where you're not died at death in games, Bellingham's that person that can drag you back into it from a negative position. But I like that. I love that, and love his urgency. And one thing I've missed, well, from a West Ham point of view, is that deep interception and deep drive with the ball to link up with the attacking play. That's something we've lacked, and that's something we're going to touch on when we talk about
that's
West Ham.
What I'm trying to bring in. That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to say. But then look at when Arsenal played Man United the other day, and then like tackles that he made in his own box. Declan. I mean, that's game changing. If they score, that's it. Arsenal fall away.
Oh yeah. It's definitely is a lot more. I think with Bellingham, it's conviction, and with Rice, it's prevention. Because that's the part, probably the way that I could look at it. They're probably two different types of players, but I think they'll come head to head in that game, and I think in those two legs, and I think that'll be such an entertaining watch, just to watch.
Yeah, big. Yeah.
And the beauty of it is they're both English.
Yeah.
Which again segues into the topic later on. But yeah, how do you feel though? Like, did you make light work of PSV on the second leg, or was it?
To be honest, I mean, to be fair, I was actually surprised. I thought Arsenal actually came out, and
Rice
I think
popped
they
up with a
upped
goal
it.
again, didn't he?
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, and also I think Arsenal came out. I was quite impressed because I thought Arsenal would come out and we would make real hard work of it, and I thought they were going to maybe win it 3-1, or like they would win it even though we were at home. Um, just because of historical stuff, like you just think, oh, they're not gonna take it seriously, or they're not, they're not gonna, they think it's already done, and and then they go into the game with, like, in gear two, and then they just can't up it. Do you know what I mean? Because of, like, almost like when you play like an FA Cup game and you're playing like a non-league team, and they sort of almost fall down to a level, and they can't boost themselves back up to get it done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I thought was going to happen. But actually, they came out, and I think once we scored, and I think that was what it was like. Right, it's done now. Do you know what I mean? Like we got the goal, and then I know obviously it was a draw in the end, but I think it was well, I know they obviously are professionals, but it's a professional job. Do you know what I mean? And and I think it was more beneficial is that it was done at a tempo, and it was done at a level where people, like I say, the people coming back, Shinchenko, White,
Forgot
Martinelli
them
coming
White's back.
on, yeah, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it gave them a chance to sort of open their lungs. I mean, White, I know obviously he's been out for a while, but um, he always gives me this impression of a player who just doesn't matter if he's out for ages, or um, he's playing every week. He's just bang on it. But you can see he needs time. He's not going to be ready to play. I think he's going to have games if he wants to get into the quarterfinal against Real Madrid. What I'm trying to say. I think he had a few straight passes. I know it's been really harsh, but a few straight passes. It looked a bit. No, I've never seen him get outrun before, and I think someone beat him, beat him down the wing, and you think, yeah, you're obviously not match fit. So I think a few more games in the Premiership. I don't think he'll start on Sunday against Chelsea. But again, it's still nice just to have someone of his caliber back. Yeah, so I mean, it's all positive. Um, and I think Marino did a good job again. Do you know what I mean?
You have
like I say,
Mick, was his name Marino? What's the striker name you called him? Mikel Marino. Is it Marinaldo or something on it?
oh, so yeah, that's yeah. But I think he's mate. I like him. I like what he's doing. I mean, I think some of the runs that I saw against PSV. I mean, obviously he's not going to play there long term, but I think if he had a bit more time, he would make the runs earlier. Like, you could see that he was thinking about what he's supposed to be doing as a striker, and obviously they are working on the training ground with him.
Yeah.
But it gave me the impression of, like, in time, actually, he might actually time his runs better and actually score more goals. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But obviously, let's be honest, he's not going to get what he's going to get. How many games got left? 10 games of the season.
Yeah, 10
So
Premier League games.
he potentially could have 10 more games, but after that, I can't see him. I just really need a makeshift. But yeah, I mean, I mean, like I say, he's got 3 goals. For someone who doesn't play there, and let's be honest, the first 2 were fantastic. That he scored. In his first game up there. I mean, when he scored there, I think everyone thought, we've got a gem here. But the stuff that he does, the headers that he won, he did hold up the play. That's what you want to be seeing from what he's meant to be doing up there. Because let's be honest, he's meant to hold it up, and he wants people like Odegaard to be playing off him so that he can play balls, down the wings, or down the side of the centre halves, for people like Saka when he's back, or Martinelli, or Trossard. That's what he's there. He's meant to be that bloke up front. Let's play off him. So he is trying to do all winning tackles, and he did win multiple tackles against PSV. And I think I think he's doing a good job, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
So I'm pretty
and
pleased.
you got Martinelli coming back, haven't you? So I think there could be that option where he could fall within that striking role and open up the channels. I think I know he was backing on the bench and he has a lot more to offer, but I think if he started against Man United, I think he probably would have won that game.
Yeah, I mean, the trouble is, what my worry is with Martinelli is his end product. I mean, he had a chance when he came on against PSV, and he I think he went out for a throw-in.
Yeah,
I think it was like literally it was a one-on-one or something, and he absolutely bananaed it, and it went out for a throw-in. I'm sure of it.
yeah,
So, I mean, I know obviously we're not going to talk about it yet, but I think he's potentially one that will get moved on in the summer, even with all the potential that he's got, and I think he's not old, but when you think of the development that Saka's had, and his finishing and his end product, as well as what he's got, with the same as Martinelli, the runs and the taking on players, which is lovely to see. I don't think Martinelli has developed as well as, well, let's be no one, not many people have as well, but not, he hasn't even come on that much for us to go, well, actually, is he pulling his weight, or is he going to get us to the next level, which is winning the league? You know what I mean? I know that sounds really harsh because he's probably only, what is he, 20, what is he, 22, 23, 24, something like that.
yeah.
But, if I was Arteta, I'd be pulling him and saying, like, really, this is your time now. Do you know what I mean? You need to, I think he's got 10 times to really prove it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when you've got people like Skelly coming up and, what's his name? Bunyari, you know what I mean? Like, it's more
Even
pressure.
Nweri,
These are young boys that are Bunyari, yeah, sorry, what did I say?
don't do it.
That's my
Yeah, that's
dyslexia.
right.
Anyway, yeah, Bunyari, sorry, that's Bunyari. Sorry, that's my dyslexia. Yeah, Bunyari are coming up and dealing with it. So, I mean, for me, Skelly he is exciting him. I mean, he's an absolute tank already, isn't he? I mean, he's built his legs, his legs and his physique. You think, he's got, you think like when we had Eddie, I know it's a different position, but when Eddie sort of broke through, he's still a boy, wasn't he? Skelly's
Yeah.
coming in, he's a bloke. He's got a man's body already, you know what I mean? And the way he's holding his own is well impressive. So, yeah, I think it's, it's exciting and I'm already sort of starting to I'll think about next year, about what Arteta's going to do, and and our new sporting director that is getting closer and closer and closer, and what his ideas are. So, but yeah. What about you, Ed? Let's move on now. Let's talk about West Ham. I want to know what this wall is.
So, the only thing West Ham have got something to talk about in a minute, because our season's pretty much over, I think. With 17,
you peaked when you beat Arsenal, wasn't it? That was your.
That was it.
That was
That kept us up, mate. That kept us up.
Yeah.
No, but
I don't know if I said this. I've had people. Do you know, Adam? Yeah, right. I just want to add this, right? Because I wasn't on. I wasn't on when the whole you spoke about this, the Arsenal thingy. Yeah, I had people
I don't think I did, Cal. I don't think I really have expressed how I felt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you did one with Rob, so I was guessing that you probably mentioned it last week. But listen, yeah, I had people texting me about West Ham beating Arsenal that I haven't spoken to for 15 years. Like literally going, Callum, is this still your number? Yeah, I just wanted to congratulate. I was like, oh, time,
yes,
mate.
Dad, it is me. Yes, Dad.
Yeah, like what? What? Like, I mean, like, well done. You beat us. I'm just like, it still bewilders me now.
It's the shock factor, I think, that makes it even more funny, is the fact that we were on our arse effectively, and the fact that you guys are gunning up there at the top of the table, hoping to put a title challenge again, and then West Ham pop up with a performance from out of nowhere and beat you. Like it's
But hold on.
no. It's I'm not. I'm
Like,
not.
you lot are giving yourself way too much credit. These people going, oh, we've ruined your title chances. Have a day off, mate. It was ruined
Well,
like 4
we
weeks
did it
before
last year,
that.
though, didn't we?
Yeah, last year maybe. Yeah, I can give it
And
to you
I think
last year, but this
think
year,
that's why it's like, oh, we've done it again. Like
but you ain't. It was
it's
ruined 4
banter,
weeks
mate.
before.
It's banter, mate.
Oh, it's absolute awful. And also, your fans, mate, need to get. Why are you trying to jump on other people's rivalry?
Oh, you know
Like,
what? Right, I
that is so
I
embarrassing. You lot
I
doing
agree.
the little.
The
Oh,
stay
mate,
humble thing,
just
yeah. I
because
agree with
no.
that. I agree with you on that one. I think things like that should be just left unsaid. Like Newcastle fans done it to you when they knocked you at the Carabao Cup, didn't they? And
Yeah,
I
like,
was
mate.
like, it makes that like, oh, stay humble. Like that's literally nothing that involves any of you club. That's a Man City Arsenal thing, or forever
Yeah,
will be. Anyone that jumps on that parade saying it to Arsenal is like, no, I think it's a bit. If it's a bit weak, if it's a weak banter, I think there's something else. Like
yeah.
Saka the ghetto ole.
Like,
But
oh,
anyway, we've had all this. We've had all this. It's let's say it's the game's gone and past. I think you're still, you're still going to be a top four team. Well, it could Champions League could actually go down to 7 places by the looks of it if the coefficients work out
yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you're going to be Champions League, and West Ham have avoided Championship at the minute. So it is what it is.
No, you'll stay up.
That's what I mean. We've
You got no
avoided
job.
it. There's like
Yeah,
16, 17 points difference between us and Leicester.
yeah.
So it's I think get 7 more points. We've got 10 games to do that. That pretty much ends the season for us. But yeah, I mean, we played Newcastle on Monday night, and I was a little bit optimistic based off the fact that we had 2 wins in the last 2 games and 2 clean sheets in the last 2 games, and I was hoping for a 3rd clean sheet. I wasn't necessarily backing a win, but I thought a draw was probably a fair prediction. And looking back at the game, I think we was unlucky. I'm not going to sit here and cry over spilt milk over the Isak push on Kilman. Even if he did go from an offside position to foul him, and then there's that, and then there's also the Guimaraes foul on Bowen, which should have been a penalty. But the only thing I can say is the ref was consistent. He didn't give. He allowed the goal to happen, and he didn't give us the penalty for 2 challenges which were deemed fair in his book. So, yeah, but again, not going to cry over spilt milk over it. It is what it is. We move on. But I was just disappointed in our team at the fact that we didn't really deliver much. When you look back on the statistics, it is pretty much we had 2% more possession. The passes were similar, the tackles were similar, the offsides were similar, the corners were similar, the shots on target were similar. But the only difference was that Newcastle had 1 more shot on target than us, and they scored from it. And that was the only thing. We should have done better, especially with a team that they've got a cup final to look forward to. They've probably got one eye on that, and we should have really took advantage of that, which we didn't. But this leads to a tweet that we posted out in the week about Mohamed Kudus. Is it stick or twist for Mohamed Kudus? Because there's been a lot of controversy about Mohamed Kudus not performing well in the West Ham shirt this season, and the statistics that have outlined there basically show that he played his best football whilst he was under the management of Lopetegui. And you'd think that with him being, or the rumours come out that he was frustrated with the setup, frustrated with the training, couldn't communicate, couldn't understand the rites of passage of play under Lopetegui. But since Potter has come in, Kudus has offered absolutely nothing. He's scored no goals. He's provided no assists. It's just terrible. And I think he's had a rating of 7 out of 10 once in like 8 or 9 games, under Graham Potter, and that was at Aston Villa in an away game.
Do you think that's more of a confidence thing, or do you think it's that he doesn't like
I just don't think he's as good as what people are making him out to be. I know he's only 23. It's just. I've just been looking back on it, looking back at all the statistics and that, and it's quite worrying. It's quite worrying, especially when Tim Steidman was kind of slagged off or criticised of the fact of airing out West Ham's dirty laundry and saying that, well, he has a minimum release clause of £85 million. When you look back on the stats over last season and this season, he probably had a big point as to why he wanted to sell him, because he could probably get someone cheaper and uplift the performances on him. Like if we bought him for £35 million from Ajax and he's not really improved the squad from the season before, you would sell him for £85 million. So I can see why he put him in the shop window so early. Again, maybe that's something Tim Steidman saw that we've only just found out now, very early on, and that was why he was in that position in the first place. But we brought in Luis Guilherme to be his replacement, and he hasn't played. And it almost feels like Kudus is a bit of a traveller at the minute, a bit of a passenger in the side, and it feels like there's like an instruction there to say he has to play every week to maintain his value.
Is it in his contract?
Him in the summer. Well, I don't know, but I think if there's...
It could be in his contract, couldn't it?
If someone comes in for a bid for him in the summer, he's definitely going. He's definitely going. But
do you reckon he goes abroad?
I don't know. Whoever's got the most money, I think it'll be a bidding war in the summer for him, because if someone puts in £85 million for him, he's gone.
You know how.
But I don't think we'll get rid of him for that.
No, you won't. I don't think you will either.
I think 60. Probably.
Yeah, if you're lucky. Yeah, I would say 60. Yeah, in today's market, probably 55, 60. Maybe with add-ons, 55 with add-ons. Do you think you could lose Bowen?
No, I think he's there now till he retires. I think it will cost a lot of dough. He's on a 7-year deal. He's on a 7-year deal. He's the highest paid player at the club. He's got the captain's armband. He's married into the Danny Dyers family, so they ain't gonna let him go. I know that sounds stupid, but like he's pretty much been taken in as a West Ham icon, really. So I think it'd be a bit. I think the only team he goes to, if he was sold, was Man United, because he supported that club as a kid. Okay. So that's the only team I could see him going for. I can't see him going Newcastle if they put the money up, but if he does go, it's going to cost over £100 million, and nobody's going to want to pay over £100 million for someone coming to 28 years of age.
Yeah, but arguably he's coming to the peak of his performances, really.
Yeah, but Harry Kane did at 28. He didn't go. He didn't go for that amount, did he? I think he went to Bayern when he was 29 or 30, didn't he, for something like 90 million. So, but with Harry Kane, you guarantee 20 goals, aren't you, a season? Like that's a given. Yeah. But I think Kudus is probably the one that will make a profit on him. We paid £35 million for him. Like if we get £60 or £70 million for him, we've doubled our money. Yeah, and I think a club like us, for someone that's only been there 2 seasons, but also bearing in mind we was banking on selling Paqueta as well last summer, and then that all went to shit because of what's happened. So, I think there's a lot of things to consider there. A lot of things to consider. But going back onto Kudus, like he's statistics this season, his average pass completion rate is 83%. He's misplaced over 100 passes this season. Defensively, he's won 19 tackles in terms of getting the ball back. Possession-wise, this is where I think West Ham are losing their ability to impact games. Is the fact that when he carries the ball, he carries it into open spaces and kind of gets lost. He kind of goes into pockets and then goes back again. So we're not actually benefiting from him pushing forward. So his possession-wise, he's had about 947 touches, but over half of that have been in the attacking third. So he's not. So he's always up the pitch. Even he's always trying to retrieving the ball and touching the ball. He's always in the far end of the pitch. So we're losing that sort of defensive mentality from a winger to support our defenders effectively. Take-ons, right? So he's had 153 take-ons. That is a 43% success rate. So in one-on-one positions, when he's trying to beat a defender, it's less than half. Less than half. He's supposed to be a player that is being given the ball to beat players to get crosses in, to beat players to get shots on target. He's not doing it. He's not doing it enough. What other one? So
is that because he's worried about being so defensive?
I think
there's more of an emphasis on defending, and that's what
I don't think so.
He's trying to focus on.
I don't think so because the touches and his positioning on the pitch proves that he's not actually tracking back as much as what he should do. So he's been pretty much told to stay up there, or his mentality is to stay up there and retrieve the ball. And he's
that his hold up? He's looking at. He's been told that he needs to hold the play up, and that he's not having people run off him.
In fairness, his hold up play is outstanding. Like when he gets the ball and he's got 2 or 3 players around him. I've never seen him really.
He draws fouls, doesn't he?
Yeah, he draws fouls, but I never really see him losing the ball when he's got that. He gets himself out of tricky positions, but it's no dissimilar to what Aaron Wan-Bissaka offers on the wing. So I'm kind of questioning whether he's actually needed at all at West Ham, because I think I think him playing is pushing Bowen up as a striker, when Bowen is naturally a winger. And because of that, because Bowen has to play, we're now sacrificing a striker because of it. Now we've got Evan Ferguson who needs game time. Whack him up front and drop Kudus. That's what I would do. But I'm not West Ham manager. I don't get paid that money to do that. But that's the option for me. I think
Do you not think Potter's just trying to hold out this season?
Yeah, I do.
Stay up, and then he's going to, in the summer, get them all together. And then because that's the impression that I get, that he's going to completely have change-ups. So it's almost like I reckon they're already working on it, but they're not going to implement it till.
Yeah, I think when you've taken over a squad where for instance, you're taking on 31 shots a game and losing 3-1, that's a defensive issue. It's not a strike. Well, you could argue it's a striking issue because if you're not scoring for 31 goals, it's a problem. But the fact that we're losing games 3-1, 4-1, 4-2 or whatever, or 2-0, that means that we're leaking more goals than we're scoring. So I think Potter's come in and what he's done is he's actually made us a harder team to beat defensively.
Yeah.
Like if we've lost
Arsenal.
Yeah. I mean, I always remember Will Still doing this when he was interviewed for the High Performance podcast, and when he was brought in at Stade Reims in France, they were relegation battlers, and he basically said, "Look, I'd love to play this free-flowing football, I would, but I know we need to solve a problem. I've got to sacrifice my style of play to ensure that we keep this team in the league." And I think that's exactly what Potter's done. I think Potter's come in and he's shored things up at the back, and people were moaning about it. People were moaning about the style of football. But at the end of the day, if that style of play keeps us up with half a season to go, based on the bad performances that we've had the first half of the season, you can't really criticise it. And I know a lot of fans are saying, well, we didn't want this style of football under David Moyes. That's why he's gone. That's why we got a more free-flowing attacking manager in. But Lopetegui was never the right free-flowing attacking footballer.
Is it that he didn't have the team to do it, though?
Well, we spent over £150 million to get that team in.
Yeah, no, but maybe
he signed them off. He signed them off and went, "Yeah, that'll do. I'll tick box that." So he's partly responsible. He could have went no.
Did he?
Yeah,
Did
of course
he?
he did.
We don't know what
Yeah.
happened behind closed doors, do we?
Well,
Did he actually pick
there's
them?
some players. There's some players there that he's walked in on the changing room that have been signed already. Someone like Somerville, because the chairman's gone on buying him, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, but you don't know if he's done that for other players, do you, as well? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, he wanted Max Kilman, and Max Kilman's probably been one of our best players. Aaron Wan-Bissaka was not his choice, but it was a player because it was linked with the agent, with the chairman, with Will Salthouse. So,
yeah, but he's been a good signing, to be fair.
He's been brilliant. 15 million quid.
Yeah, that's an absolute steal.
Yeah, he's definitely one to
I
build.
was shocked I was shocked when they let him go.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
But yeah, like, with West Ham, I think I think this season it is pretty much a write-off for us, and we just need to kind of realise that we're playing the long game with him. But there's been a few talks and murmurs as to whether he'd actually stay in the summer. So we could be ending up finding a completely new manager and new setup. But I think that's a bit far-fetched personally, but that's just rumblings that I've heard. But I think you don't spend £2 million on Graham Potter's first right-hand man in Carl McCauley for recruitment to then go, you know what, Potter, we don't need you anymore.
It'd be stupid business.
I think
of course.
it's stupid.
I mean, I know they're talking about billion pound clubs and so on, but no one's wasting £2 million. I mean,
no, that's it. Yeah, I mean, especially with Sullivan. Sullivan don't want to pay private jets for short away trips for players. Like, he'd rather let them go and coach. But that's another politics story. But that bloody wall, Callum, right? So
what is this wall about?
There's a lot of talk at the minute at West Ham about potential stadium modifications and alterations. How can they?
This is what you've been waiting for, mate. Having your little stamp on your ground, on your borrowed ground.
Having the stamp. So basically, this wall has been put up where the away section is to prevent to prevent missiles and
little
interactions. And that go. So it's a big claret concrete wall, right? And all it's being at the minute is to put flags on. But this wall was put in by the LLDC, the company that were doing the running parts for it. Because when West Ham were in Europe, they had fans over from Romania, Cyprus, Austria, and stuff like that when they were on their Europa League campaigns. And a lot of the problem that happened in the London Stadium was that missiles were being thrown. So the LLDC's solution to that was very Donald Trump-esque, was they were going to build a wall. So they built a wall and it stayed there for the past 3 seasons. But this wall now is supposedly going to be coming down because it's saturating the atmosphere in the stadium. When you're missing that friendly banter between clubs where you can't see. Now there's no immediate reaction with that because now fans can't see one another as part of the game, and you're kind of losing the kind of DNA of a match day experience by not having that close banter between the two sets of fans. So this wall is apparently going to be coming down, which is a welcome addition to the to the club. But there's a lot more things that need to happen in that stadium for it to actually for us to benefit from it. But that all depends on who has full control of the running of that stadium in years to come. So let's see what happens with that. But as we're going on as we're talking about Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri, Declan Rice, and obviously the potential battle of having Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham, this leads us fantastically on to Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel tomorrow is about to announce his first England squad. I think it should be about midday tomorrow, I believe. And he's due to take on his first 2 games as England manager will be in World Cup qualifiers for next year's World Cup in North America. So his first game is against Albania, and the second game is against Latvia. So they're not they're games that I would consider not that we shouldn't be worried about in terms of getting a result. So it could pose as an opportunity to kind of put in some new faces there whilst around trying to build a squad for the next summer. Obviously, you're going to have your stalwarts in Rice, Bellingham, Kane, but there's an opportunity there where we've had aging players from the last tournament that look to be phased out and kind of bring in a new set of players. But out of the England players that have been playing well this season, who would be your outside picks in terms of players that haven't been called up before?
I mean, obviously, the first ones that come to mind are the Arsenal boys, but I did this debate with my old man last night, but I actually hope they don't have an outside chance of getting in. So people like Skelly don't get a chance because, you know, I mean, they've played a lot already in the new year, and parts of this season. I think actually probably having that time off and just training would be fantastic at home. And I think if they was to go with England anyway, I don't think they'd actually get on. I think they would be there to be in the atmosphere and being on England duty and getting used to being travelled and being with the boys, which is also beneficial. And as probably contradictory to what I've just said about just staying at home and training and resting up and recuperating, which they probably arguably could do with the England squad because I couldn't see him getting minutes. To be fair, but I mean, I think that's where the biggest rumours are, isn't it? That that the Arsenal boys will get called up.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I think they've been a breath of fresh air for Arsenal in terms of.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree, and I just want to protect them. To be honest with you, it's me being selfish. Being an Arsenal fan, that knowing our luck, they go to England duty and they come on for 5 minutes and something would happen to them. And let's be honest, at the moment, we can't afford that with either of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that it is me being selfish. I mean, for their development, it would be, let's be honest, playing at the top level. Or arguably the top level of sport for your country, and is a dream. No, it'd be their dream. They would, everyone's dream. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't turn it down. But I just think it's a risk for Arsenal if they did go, and I just think, could they benefit from a rest? Do you know what I mean? But then they could also go to England and have an absolute boost and come back and be buzzing, and a bit like Saka the first time around, not with the misses and the penalty misses and all that sort of stuff. When he first, he went to England and he came back and he was on fire. When he first, his first time going with the England squad. So, it's it'd be interesting to see what does happen and how it plays out. But I mean, them two are potential wild cards, aren't they? What I personally think is a wild card, and I'd be, I'm going to throw his name out there as a wild card, which people will probably argue, but Jack Grealish, hasn't really played much, this season.
I can see those types of players being phased out though, because I think.
I mean. But he still brings something, does he? Let's be honest. He still brings something. He's still a different type of player. No, will Rashford get in? I think again he's an outside player, isn't he?
Can't see it.
But then he's done well playing for Aston Villa. What has he got?
He's had four assists, hasn't he? Yeah. I just think it's the time to move on, and I think that's what Tuchel will probably bring. I mean, I think the alarming factor for England for me is the defence, because in the last game when we played Ireland, Kyle Walker played as a right centre half, and I think John Stones is picking up far too many injuries. I think Harry Maguire has always been a fantastic centre half and a fantastic servant for England whenever he's played. I think that could be a problem. That could pose a problem
Are you trying to throw Ben White's hat in there as an outsider?
I think Ben White has had. It's been rumored that Ben White has had discussions, hasn't he, with Tuchel about.
I think it's too early. I think too early in his recovery back or his return back.
maybe, but it wouldn't hurt him being in the setup and.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't hurt him getting the games either. To be honest with you,
no,
I'm not being funny. Like it benefit Arsenal him getting games and getting minutes under his belt. So actually, him going would be. I think it'd be fantastic for Arsenal. But then, would he be able to do himself justice?
Sam
has said, play at that level. Yeah.
Sam has said, "Well, I hope we're still not trying to get Noble or get a call up." No, unfortunately not, mate. But as much as he should have been given a cap in that,
he should have been, yeah. And that's your closing of Upton Park. That was his season. He should have got it that season, 100%.
Yeah, and I think he was. Behind James Milner for the most capped under-21 captain.
Yeah, it's such a shame.
Called up. So, but talking of a Spurs fan piping up here, one of the names that should be considered, that in my opinion, is Archie Gray, who has not had a call up for England yet. I mean, there's the top list on transfermarket.co.uk. There is a list of 10 players that have been uncapped that could be called up for Tuchel's first squad. I'll start from number 10 and work our way up to number 1. So Miles Lewis-Skelly, who we've already touched on, and there was also a comment by Tuchel when he first come into the role, was that he wouldn't rule out talented players in the Championship. Now, 2 of those players that are on that list, or 3 of those players are on that list that are next, is Chris Rigg, who's the young 17-year-old at Sunderland, who looks like an absolute superstar. And I think he won't be at Sunderland much longer. He's destined.
I think he's linked to Arsenal.
Linked with Arsenal. I think he's linked with everyone.
I'm sure he's linked with Arsenal. Yeah. Man United.
Real Madrid, everything.
Oh, that was it. Barcelona. That's what I saw. Yeah.
James Trafford, I've been a massive fan of since the under-21s Euros that we beat Spain in. When he saved that penalty in that final, I thought he was superb, and I always thought he's a talented young keeper, and will be England's future number 1, especially with the players that are in that team now, like Cole Palmer, Noni Madueke, Morgan Gibbs-White. I think there's a lot of debate there as to. He should be in that squad. He'll be taken over from Pickford, no problem whatsoever. And another Bellingham, and that's Job Bellingham at Sunderland, and he's been playing brilliant for Sunderland in that centre midfield role. We could see the Bellingham brothers in the next England squad. Who knows? Like, it would be quite good for that family. Another youngster go on, mate.
He's rumoured to be coming to Arsenal as well.
Yeah, I think West Ham have been after him as well, Joe Bellingham. But if Arsenal come calling, he's going to go there, isn't he? But whether he gets the game time or not, these kids, none of these kids here are older than 22 years of age, so they've got a complete career ahead of them, and going to a big club too early could ruin it, I think. Yes, you've got Joe Bellingham, and the next one on that list is Southampton's Tyler Dibbin. Now, I saw this kid play for Southampton when West Ham in the FA Cup youth round, and he was phenomenal. I looked at him and I thought he's the most standout player on that pitch without a shadow of a doubt. Tyler Dibbin, he was captain of the youth team, and West Ham beat him, I think, something like 3-4-1. But he was phenomenal. He was brilliant. And it was no surprise when he made his senior debut this year for Southampton in the Premier League. And he won't be at the club much longer, sadly, for Southampton. 1, because they're going to get relegated. And 2, he could easily play for someone like a Crystal Palace or a Fulham or something like that. He could easily get in that squad, not a problem. Another player is Elliot Anderson, who Newcastle stupidly sold to Nottingham Forest, stupidly sold them because of PSR rules and regulations. They had to get rid of some of their youth players, and Elliot Anderson was one of those on the block. So he's there and he's been fantastic for Nottingham Forest this year, getting them into top 4 position. He's been brilliant. He showed glimpses last year of what he could actually achieve, but this year he's just growing and growing. I think he'll be a good standout. Whether he'd be good enough to knock Declan Rice or Jude Bellingham off their perches is debatable, but he'd be a good squad player for a future England call-ups, I think. Liam Delap is next on that list. 10 goals for Ipswich this year. Part of the under-21s team that played with Cole Palmer, Morgan Gibbs-White, as mentioned earlier. I think he's the nearest thing to Harry Kane, in my opinion. I think if I know we've got a Spurs fan watching now, if Spurs wanted a striker, that's the striker you go and get. I think he's perfect. But whether Man City have a say in that is different. Archie Gray's next on that list. Yeah, Archie Gray's next on that list. He was bought from Leeds in the summer. He was a centre midfielder originally, but then he's been playing centre half. So that could probably be one of the answers to the centre back problem for England.
Do you think Gahey will play?
I think Gahey will be there, because I think he's the right age. But I think it would easily be replaced in years to come, because I think the crop that we've got coming up next, like we've got Harwood Bellis that scored on his debut in the last game. You've got Quansah.
Who's the Man United centre half that come from Arsenal? Does he qualify for England?
Heaven, is it Heaven?
Yeah. I don't know. Not yet. But do you reckon future?
I don't know, but it could be hell for him.
There's a big roar about him, isn't there? Huh?
It could be hell for him yet. So
yeah, mate. Yeah, true. Yeah, it's true.
Next on that list is Nweri, Nweri, as I've been slagged off for getting his name wrong. I like him a lot. I like him a lot. I think he's definitely odds on for an England called up. And the other one is outside of England, and that's Gittins at Dortmund. He's just another one of them players that have just been developed through the Borussia Dortmund Academy, been given opportunities to flourish, and he's gonna be in there about that squad, no shadow of a doubt. So when you talk about bringing Rashford and Grealish in and stuff like that, I think those guys they're probably finished now. They're probably finished.
Has he got the bottle to drop them? Has he got the bottle to bleed them? Bleed these.
I think he's got that personality to do that, hasn't he? And I think that's probably why we needed a manager like that, someone a bit more cutthroat, someone that's going to encourage changes and build a younger squad, something that the FA have worked hard on developing since St George's Park has come into play. So I think there's a reason it's like, right, okay, now we need to start winning stuff. And I think they've gone and got a manager in who's just going to focus on the football, focus on the players, rather than worry about the press or the players playing darts with the media to sweeten them before tournaments, or get unicorns in for swimming pools and stuff. Like, it's all good for team building, but a lot of that's all media frenzy kind of played into England's hands a little bit, I think. And Gareth Southgate saw the psychology of that. But even when you look at the existing England squad, or the previous England squad that beat Ireland, like, you got Lewis Hall in there, but he's currently injured, so he won't be called up. Livramento, right back. Noni Madueke, Jude Bellingham, Anthony Gordon, Curtis Jones, Pickford, and Conor Gallagher. Like, the names are just exciting. Angel Gomez, Morgan Rogers, Jared Bowen. I think he might. Sadly, I think he might be sacrificed in that England squad. Rico Lewis, Morgan Gibbs-White, Quansah, James Trafford. There's Dominic Solanke again. I think he might be sacrificed this time, because I don't think he's been playing that particularly well for Spurs at the minute. There's loads. Honestly, there's just loads of players, loads of talented players that could all stake a claim for that England squad. I'd like to see Ollie Scholes get called up, but maybe it might be called up too early. I think if he gets in with the under-21s and builds from there on, I think he'll do well. But yeah, I say it's exciting times for England, and we'll be there under the leadership of a German manager. So
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow is going to be interesting, isn't it? And then, ultimately, it's what his starting lineup's going to be, and how the first game goes is going to pretty much dictate his tender, is it? Really, isn't it? So,
yeah.
He's got to win
what
these
about
games.
Ian Wright though? What about Ian Wright? We've had a suggestion. Like Ian Wright could be due a call up. What do you think?
What's the joke? I don't get it.
No, Sam's saying Haley asked whether Ian Wright should be considered for an England call up.
I tell you could probably get an Arsenal call up at the moment.
Even with one leg.
Yeah, I'd probably take him, mate.
Yeah,
I
probably
would take. I'll take his granddaughter. Have you seen his granddaughter play?
No,
mate. I don't know which son it is, but his granddaughter, she is mustard, mate. She can I think she's only 10, but yeah, she's going to be a talent for the girls' game. Talk about maybe a future lioness. Yeah, she looks like ridiculous. Her ball control at her age is just wow.
Yeah,
really impressive. Yeah. No, I don't think Ian Wright will make the call, unfortunately. But
I think he's too busy. He's too busy with ballers now, isn't he?
Yeah. Have you seen, mate?
With Chloe Kelly, isn't it?
Oh, mate, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it. I think he's going to go half safe. I do think that he'd have some wild cards in there, so that there'd be something to talk about, and media have something to latch on and go, oh, look, here we go. Look, he's got a few, but I do think he'd go safe from certain people. I think Harry Kane will play. Obviously, Jude, Rice, Palmer. I personally think that Gay will be at the back. Pickford.
I forgot Cole Palmer weren't even in that squad. To face Ireland.
But yeah, I do think
Foden.
Foden. I think there'd be a core. I think there'd be a core.
He's got a wealth. Huh? He's got a wealth of talent there, hasn't he?
No, this is it. I mean, as you just said, like the names that you've said, and then the ones that are already there. Arguably, we should be. I mean, I know we've been close. It's the whole Arsenal thing, isn't it? Close but no cigar. But we should be winning the next one, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
You'd like to think.
Yeah, we should be. Yeah, we should be beating Albania and Latvia. But it'd be a good opportunity to put these kids in. But we can't risk any game as being a pre-season effectively, because we've got a World Cup to qualify for.
Yeah, I agree.
And these games should be taken lightly. But anyway, that's that. We'll find out the England squad tomorrow. I think it's about midday, around that time.
Yeah, they like to do it that time, don't they?
Yeah, but we'll see. I think there'll be some exciting names in there, and it's gonna be very exciting next 12 months. I think, leading up to the World Cup, if we qualify, which I think we will. I mean, it'll be harder to not qualify than to qualify. I think it's like 48 team tournament, isn't it?
Yeah,
World Cup now.
Yeah.
Just double check that. 26 World Cup teams.
Also, you got to remember, you got Saka.
Yeah, 48. Yeah, Saka. Fucking hell, yeah, that's what I mean. Rice wasn't even in there.
No.
Rice went it's amazing. I think it's right. It's got to come. It's got to come home. And if it's got to come home via Germany, I'm all for that.
Or would it be the golden years with David Beckham and all that? Would it be another one of them ones with all these talented players and they don't bring it home?
I think we've gone past that. I think we've gone past that phase now. Like when you think you had Grealish, you've had Foden, you've had, just Rashford.
Also, all these players, other than the ones that we mentioned, the young ones coming through, but they've all played on big
stages,
platforms now. The Champions League finals, and they've all played in major tournaments.
But the youngsters that are getting called up have won something at youth level, which they're going to be in that same bracket, aren't they? Well, when they're developing into senior squad, the players that they've beaten are also in their respective senior squads. So you'd like to think that there's some sort of edge against them already.
Correlation that the development carries
I
through.
mean, you
and
look at France. Look at France when they won their Youth World Cup. They had Pogba, Zuma, Areola, Lacazette, and Nasri and stuff like that. They had all these players there when they were winning World Cups and stuff a few years ago. They didn't even have Mbappe in that squad. And then even when you looked at Germany's sort of golden era, let's talk about Mark Noble. Mark Noble was in the final against Germany where they got spanked 5-0. And that team had Özil, Khedira, Manuel Neuer, Miroslav Klose, and like it's just you can't compete with that. When you look back on it now, and I think we'll come into that phase with England. Like we'll look back on when England won the World Cup, then you look at the youth tournaments that they won as a collective then, and you think, fucking hell, they had a good squad then, even then.
Well, should we throw it out here now then? Do you reckon we'll win back to back? We'll win the World Cup and Euros, and then we'll drop off again, and then we'll have to rebuild.
Well, let's take baby steps. I think.
I've
the
said
best
it.
baby
I've
steps
thrown
you
it
can
out
take.
there.
Oh,
I've
you said
said
it.
it. I've thrown it out there. I'm throwing it out there.
You've got to win the World Cup first to mount any sort of challenge. Really, I think we could probably be in the Spain territory. When you think they won the Euros, World Cup, then Euros, I think it's doable. But to do it World Cup, Euros, World Cup, I think that would kind of leapfrog Spain.
Mate, we're talking about that's like, mate,
it would do because they were champions continentally back to back, but we could be champions back to back win a World Cup, which would probably be. I don't know. We live to dream, but let's see what happens. But anyway, Cal, nice to keep up and chat and vent our stuff. But those that have been watching and have enjoyed, please like and subscribe below. You can follow us on X on @DadsOurJobPod, and you can also follow us on Instagram where we post some little short memes and opinions on there, and that's the same handle, @DadsOurJobPod. Thanks again, and we look forward to talking with you next week. See you later.
See ya.